Greetings, everybody. This is Tony DeRico coming to you from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and Meredith Bell. Meredith, would you say hello?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I am outside the DC area, far enough away to not be caught up in all the drama of politics. So we're both safe in areas that should not be affected by the hurricane.
Yeah, we are making this recording today in honor of all the people that have suffered during the Hurricane Harvey and Irma. I had to look it up, to be honest. I can't remember. I'm tired. But where we are is we put on a webinar yesterday about how to hire and how to train employees. And I had numbers of people calling me saying, oh, I wish I could be there. We're evacuating. The hurricane's coming, rolling upon us. And I offered we're going to give them a recording. Well, I forgot we didn't record it. So we're going to do this recording, especially for everybody that has not had the opportunity. But more importantly, here's what we're going to do. And by the way, I have in-laws on the way up from Melbourne, Florida. I think I'm going to have about 30 of them laying around my house. And they're all welcome. Matter of fact, well, I better not invite everybody here because I'll have a flood of people. My wife will kill me. What we're going to be doing seriously, this really bothers me. I don't know if you noticed on my social post this last week, I've raised money through Red Cross. I've personally given money to Red Cross. My son lives in Texas. I lived 20 years in Texas. I am a Texas by injection. And it was injection by the needles when I rode my bike and fell into the, cactuses. But I'm a Texas in the heart, and it hurts me to see people hurt. It doesn't matter if it's Texas. I don't care if it's Wyoming, Alaska. It bothers me. So we're going to take this demonstration. We're going to have a special offer, and we're going to extend it to everybody. And it's going to be available through 5 o'clock Friday next week. We initially were going to do it for 24 hours, and there's too many things going on. In addition to that, Meredith and I have agreed that we're going to contribute 10% of everything that's sold between now and Friday to the Red Cross. So we will make that donation on your behalf. So in addition to the fact you're making that investment, you'll be able to write off 10% of it on your taxes. To me, it doesn't matter about the tax write-off, but you could have it. But that's what we're going to do. And please help us. There's a lot of people going to be in need. And open your hearts and help them no matter what you can do. If some of you guys, and I know there's some real good old redneck boys and women that got in Texas with their boats, their Ford 150s, right? And anything you can help people out, give a hand to the people that are in trouble and less fortunate than we are. And I am there with you in spirit, if not in person. Meredith?
Yeah, thanks, Tony. It's a very somber thing. We're recording this before Irma actually comes on land in the U.S. So we don't know at this moment what's going to happen with Florida, but we're confident there's going to be some dire consequences. So we just felt that we wanted to do this for all the folks that are going to be impacted afterwards.
Thank you, Meredith.
So let's get started.
Get on with the show.
Our content.
As Cecil B. DeMille would say, on with the show. So let me start by, first, this is a slide. The purpose of this, and our webinar was designed for business owners. It had a slant towards pharmacies, but it's applicable for anybody that has employees. You want to hire people with the best attitude in the world. You want to train them as well as you can, because in life, don't we all want to win a Super Bowl with a world-class team? Myself, I'm not going to bore you with this. You know who I am. Look me up on LinkedIn if you want to know more. And anytime, call me if you want to know more. Steve Hoffarth. This gentleman is in Houston, Texas. His pharmacy got 26 inches of rain. And he is a survivor, and he's a great guy. He's one of our clients. He uses our services. And a couple of years ago, when I was working on a presentation to the PCCA, and Steve was a client, I said, Steve, I'm going to be talking to some pharmacists. What's important to you as a pharmacist? And I suspect they would find that important. So Tony, it's real simple. life is simple if we look at it that way. I need to increase my sales. I want to improve my profitability. He says, you don't know this probably about pharmacists, but we work 6 to 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day. We're the pharmacists in the store. We get there at 6. We don't leave till, excuse me, we don't leave till 10 o'clock at night. So free time is important. Reducing the hassle of running the pharmacy. Customer service is number one. If you don't have your customers being absolutely the most important thing to you, you're losing out on a lot of money. Another gentleman, Michael, owns 5 pharmacies outside of St. Louis. Hometown family pharmacies. You want to ask Michael whether or not our assessment and training programs work? Call him. Well, go ahead, call him. He loves talking to people. So what we're going to talk about today is hiring skills, how to hire the best applicant. Now you got the best team players. You got to get them to work as a team. Even if you have the best players, you as the owner of a business, it's your job as the head coach to create a winning culture. That's what coaching successfully is all about. And then obviously, you always got to say thank you, give people a pat on the back. That will go 100 miles to getting you towards your objective. Here's a perfect example. Well, almost perfect. They lost last night. I fell asleep. That may be why they lost. But at the end of the day, I will bet anyone here that they will be in the playoffs at the end of the season. So if you hire the wrong people, it doesn't matter. All the fancy footwork, all the fancy management tools ain't going to get you what you want. You got to start with the right raw material. Talking about sports, Winslow Research has been in business since 1968. They're the company that provides us our assessment services. And these are some of the notable things that they've done in the athletic arena. Probably the most noticeable thing is the Disney movie Miracle on Ice. If you ever have the opportunity to see that movie, you'll see these kids taking these tests to select who's on the team. That was the Winslow Athletic Success Profile. And Dennis Waitley, who is one of our psychologists who wrote the program, is the consultant that worked with the Olympic teams. So, talent management, 4 components. You got to acquire the right talent. You got to assess their strengths and weaknesses. You got to get the team in alignment, and development. Development is training to achieve the objective of the team. So when you acquire, one of the things we can do more of with you is saying, how do you attract better talent to want to work for your company? You got to know what kind of fish you want, where they are, and you got to use the right bait to get them. And do you have a system? Today, if you don't have a system, I don't care if it's time management, a system of security, you got to develop, you have a system to develop your talent, a system to hire people, a system to train people, and you absolutely got to have a game plan. Do you have a game plan in your business? Do you have a business plan? See, a business plan can be all of one page, right? Which is, what's my top level goal? How am I going to achieve it? And then monitoring your results week by week, day by day, month by month, quarter by quarter. And again, make sure you're feeding your horses. That's a Texas saying, by the way. So how do you develop a pharmacy superstar winning team? Number 1, training, coaching, and hold people accountable to standards. Do not allow people, don't let yourself say, well, my goal is 70%. Well, if somebody comes in at 68, you didn't meet your goal. You cannot diminish standards. Talking about standards, I was on the phone with this gentleman just about 30 minutes ago, and he's in Warsaw, Missouri. This gentleman is 70 plus years old, and he has double the revenue of the average pharmacy. And I'm personally his coach, and he called me one day and said, Tony, do you know you saved me $60,000? I said, Don, I guess so. I don't know. What did I do? He said, well, I was going to hire a pharmacist without using your service. I said, that'd be dumb. He said, yeah, I guess it would. He said, I had the 2 people take it. The one I was going to hire was not the right one to hire. He said, I'm quick to hire, slow to fire. It would have taken me 6 months to get rid of him. You saved me $60,000. I said, you're welcome. So now we're going to give you a brief demonstration how the assessment system works. And we're going to now go on to the demo and show you how the Winslow Behavioral Assessment works. On the screen, you'll notice that we have our login for clients page. And what will happen once you buy our services, you'll get an email from our system, and that email is going to advise you as to how to log on, and give you your access codes and your security code, which is what I just entered there. That will take you to your dashboard, which you'll see on the screen now, and you'll notice up in the upper left-hand corner, there is the name XYZ Corporation. Again, this is demo site and your user ID. On the left-hand side are all the navigation buttons. So that's where you activate the system. So most of our clients today, when they start with us, say that they need help hiring the very best applicants. That's the biggest challenge they have. They've come to accept some of the employees they have, but they're really worried about the quality they get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Completed Profiles. I'm going to show you how our system is used to select between 2 candidates. Because in our system, we advise our clients that today is different than maybe 20 years ago. For example, when I was hiring for a vice president of sales and marketing for my hotel company, I ran an ad in the local Washington, D.C. paper. I got 23 resumes. Today, you run an ad on the internet, and you get hundreds, if not thousands, of emails from all over the world. And that's why you now have companies that are providing HRIS systems, which is how to handle a flood of resumes. So with us, we say go through the whole application process, narrow the field down to 2 applicants that you would consider hiring. Now you take those 2 applicants and you have them take our assessment. So for example, let's say that you're hiring a pharmacist. And let's say that one of the candidates is Dina Darman. By the way, for them to complete the assessment, there are 300 questions, and it takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And after you click on their name, on the left-hand side, you'll notice these green bars. These are the reports associated with their assessment. I clicked on the executive reports, which brought up these blue bars across your screen. The executive report is basically a hiring document. And these are the 24 personality characteristics that we are measuring. For example, we measure conscientiousness. Someone who's high, and by the way, a high score is either an 8, 9, or 10. The low score is 1, 2, 3. 4, 5 is, 5, 6 is average. 7, 8 is above. 3, 4 below. And what our system does, it takes the response to the questions, and then it compares the responses to our cultural normative tables, which means that we have normative tables for American culture, which is a blend between Canada and the United States. Think of a bell curve. And for example, at the top end of the bell curve, which would be up at the 9, 10, there are fewer people there. At the bottom end, the 1, 2, there are fewer there. So the bulk of people typically score in the middle. So not only do we want to know about their conscientiousness, we want to know about their ambition. Are they hardworking? Are they competitive enough that they want to exceed your goals and expectations? Are they coachable? That is very, very important in an organization where you have to manage the people. Will they listen to their supervisors and or you, the owner, and take direction? Do they have the right degree of self-confidence? Self-confidence is one of the critical traits. Think of a baseball player. When they're in a slump, what do they say they lost? Their self-confidence. So that's critical to be successful. And the other thing, you, I suspect, would like people who have a smile on their face or pleasant people. That's measured by contentment. People who are high in contentment typically are very smiley, very happy people. So now, to apply what we call a PCS position, Position Compatibility Success Profile. And these are the jobs that we've built over the last 10 years we've worked in the independent retail pharmacy industry. So for example, we're going to be hiring a pharmacist. I'm going to pick that from the checklist. That's going to now put on top of those profiles the ideal characteristics for that job. Towards the bottom, you'll see the scoring range of color codes. Desirables in dark green. So if you're building the ideal personality type for a pharmacist, you want them to land in dark green wherever possible. And you'll notice some characteristics don't have dark green. That is how our system weights that characteristic. For example, boldness does not have dark green. Ambition does. That says that boldness does not hold as much weight as ambition. So now that we have that, our system will score it. It's got to score all 24 characteristics. It's going to give it a +4 for desirable, a +2 for favorable, a 0 for neutral, -2 for cautious, and -5 for concerns. And then we'll provide you a scorecard right here at the bottom under position summary data. The first thing you'd look at is a net score, which is where my mouse is. In this case, it's a +31. That is a score of all 24 characteristics combined. And now you're probably saying, well, that's great. What the heck does that mean? Well, let me show you. We scroll up. It's built right into the form. In this first paragraph, under participant net score, what it's saying is that when someone scores between a 0 and a 15, they're going to be average. They're going to be like most people in that category. I'm not sure if you're looking to have an average team, but most of my clients would rather have superstars. 16 to 35 would say they're going to be noticed above average, and 36 and higher. The higher the score, the more exceptional they perform. So in this case, this would indicate this person will be noticed above average. Now, let's look at the other candidate. I'm going to go back over to the menu bar on the left. I'm going to click on completed profiles. By the way, this would be your database. Again, this is your private website with Winslow Research. Now let's say Richard is the other candidate. By the way, you might be leaning towards Richard. He may be a good interviewer. He may have taken all those courses you can get on the internet, particularly LinkedIn, which I like to call How to Lie to Your Future Employer. I'm going to click on Executive Report. I'm going to pull down the menu bar for the PCS positions. I'm going to pick Pharmacist. I'm going to scroll down to the scoreboard. And oh my gosh, look at that. It's flashing red. If you're in your car and you're driving down the highway and you have a traffic light that's flashing red, I bet you're going to stop, because if not, you might get run over by a train crossing across, or you might get hit by a car coming the other way. This says stop and think about this decision. The probability of this person being successful is nil to none. So your choice is, do I hire Dina, who is a +31, or Richard, who is a -26? In all cases, I would tell you I'd pick Dina over Richard every single time. Now keep in mind, this is at the end of the funnel, right? You took the hundreds of resumes. Someone sorted that through those, probably an electronic system. Someone then, did the assessment. You did background checks. You did drug checks. You narrowed it down to say these are 2 people you would consider hiring, and now's the time to make the decision to hire. And my vote would be for Dina. And so let's get Dina's report back up. I click on her name again. It will change the report. You see the name change. Now I'm going to tell you, so we've hired Dina. Her first day of work is Monday. On that day, when you are bringing them in, and the term is onboarding, that's commonly used, we would advise you give them a copy of their participants report. It will be anywhere between 35 and 50 pages. By the way, some of you have probably heard of some of the coaching companies or coaching programs like Kiyosaki Coaching, Jack Canfield Coaching, Zig Ziglar, before he passed away, had coaching companies. All those coaching programs are administered typically by a group out of Salt Lake City. They charge $5,000 to $10,000 for a 12-week program. If anybody in the audience has ever done that, you probably will see this report's familiar, because they use the Winslow assessment in personal development. So, as a matter of fact, you can see here are all the psychologists, Dennis Whiteley being the lead psychologist, that actually created the program. And now the contents report, it's all hyperlinked. So I'm going to click on item 6, which is personal development. What this does is it gives a 7-step process for the individual to use it independently or with you, the owner or the manager, is to helping them make sure that they use their strengths in the best way they can to support your store and mitigate the weaknesses. Click on the logo, it takes me back to the top. I'm now going to click on trait descriptors. So what the individual is going to do is they're going to read all 24 characteristics, and we provide a very comprehensive report on what does it mean and what is the attitudes, what's the behaviors about someone who scores, for example, a 9. So they start to get a better understanding of their own interactions with people, their own thoughts, and how they respond to certain circumstances. So they'll read all 24 characteristics. Now we go to where the real work is done. That's known as influential traits. This is where someone scores either an 8, 9, or a 10, or 1, 2, 3. And what the system does, it gives you a whole one page, and it tells you more details about the characteristic and other related traits. So, for example, you might have 2 people that are 9 in sociability. Well, if someone is a 10 in self-confidence versus a 1, the person who's a 1 will be less sociable. The person with a 10 will be even more sociable. It describes how it affects them in their career, how it affects them socially, and then provides 3 suggestions on how to maximize their performance. Because every characteristic is a double-edged sword. There's the positive aspect of it, and there's the negative aspects. We want to enhance the positive, get you better results. We want to mitigate the weaknesses. And again, this was done for all high and low scores. That is the system. All of our internet pages here have tutorials, so you never have to worry about that. Additionally, we will be providing your administrators, and we advise that you always have at least 2. It could be, if you have a 1-store pharmacy and you got 10 employees, you'll probably be hands-on involved. If you've got 5 stores like Mike Palmer, one of our clients, he's got administrators that run the system for him, and he manages his organization. Okay, now, Meredith?
Yes.
We're back. So that was the demonstration. It gives you an idea of how our behavioral assessment system works. And now we do have a special offer. And this is, I've never done this. Never, 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 never. This is the first webinar that I've ever held in public. And I've never given a 50% discount. So what you're going to get is you're going to get the dashboard, 5 assessments. You get 2 hours with me, and I know after this webinar, you may say, I don't want those 2 hours. And you're going to get some administrative training. Cost is $16.20, and cross out 24 hours. We're going to make that available to 5 p.m. next Friday, and 10% of that we're going to contribute in your name. So it's going to be, I'm going to round it up, $80. We're going to make $80 contribution, whoever buys our packages, to the Red Cross. All right. Now, Meredith, I'm going to turn it over to Meredith. She is the founder and co-founder and special founder and all the founders you want to know on a company called Strong for Performance. Take it away, Meredith.
Thank you, Tony. Just quickly about me, I'm not going to, like Tony, spend a lot of time here. My 2 business partners and I have been together for 27 years, and our focus is on creating software tools that help both managers and employees develop the people skills and personal strengths needed to become star performers. So let me go into details about what we have and things that are going to help you learn more about what it takes to really train and develop your people. So let's assume that you're using the Winslow assessments to hire the right people for your pharmacy. And now that you've brought them on board, what can you do to make sure they become superstar employees? Well, one action you can take, of course, is to invest in their development so that they are consistently performing at high levels. But there's a problem. Experts estimate that between 70 and 90% of all money spent on training is wasted because participants don't actually apply what they learned back on the job. So what can you do to make sure you get a return on your investment? Here are 2 things I want to share with you that you need to consider. First is understanding that knowing what to do is not the same as doing it successfully. And that's because learning is only the first step in the process. When you provide employees with classroom or online courses, it's simply not enough because that's just filling their heads with information that they may not apply back on the job. So the true test after the training is, what do people actually do when they're in a situation where they have to use a specific skill? Well, here's what usually happens. This Jim Carrey character is showing it. They don't have time to think about what they may have learned in a training class. They only have time to react. And their old habits, you see, are deeply ingrained. So they're going to more likely respond to their typical way of doing things, what feels comfortable and familiar. And that brings us to the second point. Creating a new work habit means rewiring the brain. The people you hire, and you know this, they don't come to you as a blank slate. They already have existing habits, their way of doing the skill that you want them to perform well, such as how they interact with an unhappy customer. And these habits are literally hardwired in their brain as physical connections. So when you introduce them to a different approach, they have to establish a new pathway and then make this one stronger than the old one. So think about what you go through yourself when you're trying to improve a skill, whether it is playing a sport or a musical instrument or listening to a customer. You've already got your way of doing that particular skill, and it's going to take a lot of practice with a new way to perform the new skill automatically. And so it's the same way with training that you provide to your employees. If you want the new skill to stick and become the way they perform their job, you've got to give them the chance to practice it many times. And they'll need coaching in the form of feedback and encouragement along the way. And since Tony loves athletes so much, I wanted to use professional athletes as an example. Their coach is critical to their success because the coach shows them the way to take their game to the next level. Then they apply what they've learned over time. They get feedback during practice and even during the games, and then they analyze how to perform it the next time. So completing all these steps combined is what leads to improved performance. If you're looking to take the performance of your employees to the next level, you'll want to incorporate this process into your employee development strategy. And that's what we've done with our e-learning system, Strong for Performance. It's not like anything you've experienced before with online training. Participants are not spending 20 or 30 minutes a day going through a lot of content at once. Instead, they get a 1-year subscription to an online platform that they can access 24/7. And then they're getting concrete, just-in-time tips for improving a skill in just a few minutes. Here's a quick overview of the program, and then I'll do a short demo for you. The participants are going to learn a 3-step process for practicing that skill on the job. They're going to focus on one specific topic and then learn specific tips on how to do it better. Then they're going to take action back on the job where they use it. So they get that really important practice. And then they're going to come back to the program later and reflect on how it went. And we've got some great questions that get them to learn lessons so next time they do it even better. We also have an accountability coach that is either you or another person in your company who's going to check in with them regularly and support them. And they also have the ability to ask for feedback on an ongoing basis by sending out a quick 1-minute survey to ask the people who work with them, how am I doing? And we've also built in original content for 64 different topics, so you don't have to create any material yourself. In fact, we've mapped all 64 of our topics to the 24 traits in the Winslow assessment. Listed here are just a few of the topics we've created content for. On the left are interpersonal skills, and on the right are the inner strengths they'll need to use. And I've got just a couple of quick examples to tell you about people in the healthcare industry that have used Strong for Performance. The first one is Van Black, who's a consultant. He used Strong for Performance over the past 2 years with 100 different managers and employees in a hospital system in Texas. And he emphasized that the participants really loved the program and used it regularly because it's quick, easy, and practical. And this is Crystal Barrios. She's a director with HHS, a company that hospitals outsource services to, such as maintenance and transportation and food service. She had a lot of training on the technical side of helping her employees do their job, but she had zero training on the people side. And so she was doing the best she could, but really wasn't as effective as she could. So as a result of going through our program, she became much more effective in building relationships with her team and getting better results from them. So now let's take a look at how all this comes together in our employee development system, Strong for Performance. Here's the demo account for Terry Morgan. She's the administrator for the company dashboard, and she's also a participant. Let's start by looking at the participant area. This is what your employees see each time they log in. With their 1-year subscription, they can access the program 24/7 from any device. The welcome video and quick start guide provide everything they need for learning how to use the program. First, they set up their coaching network. They'll choose people who care about their professional development. At a minimum, there's one person, an accountability coach, who makes sure they follow through on their commitments. This could be you or someone else in your company. They can also add other support or peer coaches, such as coworkers and friends. Short videos explain how to be a support coach. The program makes it easy for them to ask their coaches for suggestions and ideas related to exercises they complete, or to ask for feedback about their progress. Next, they'll choose the topic to focus on. They can do this in a couple of ways. You can assign the same topic to everyone based on a theme of the month that you've chosen, for example, listening or taking initiative. Or each person could choose a topic related to a gap between their Winslow assessment results and what their job requires them to do. Once they've selected the topic, they'll follow a 3-step process for practicing the skill on the job until it becomes automatic. We call that focus, action, reflection. And here's how it works. They log in and see their current skill in the top. In this example, the skill is listening. They click focus to go through one of the resources. The idea is to get a quick tip or technique that they can apply right away with coworkers and customers. This video is less than 2 minutes long, so it doesn't take much time. One of the ideas presented is that a good listener pays attention to both verbal and nonverbal expressions. They complete the exercise and make a commitment to implement their key takeaway from the video. After saving the exercise, they click Request Input to share it with their coaches. They've been using the program only a few minutes, but now they're ready to log out and apply the idea. Throughout the day, they'll look for ways to practice the skill. Later, to analyze what they learned after using the skill, they log back in to complete a reflection exercise. The 5 questions help them process the experience and draw lessons from it in order to handle the next situation more effectively. After saving this exercise, they click Request Input to share it with their coaches. Once again, this only takes a few minutes. When they request input, their coaches receive an email with a message and link to a web page where the coach can enter ideas and suggestions. The reflection exercise completes the cycle of focus, action, and reflection. They'll repeat these steps until the skill becomes comfortable and automatic. Under Get Feedback, they can send out a quick 1-minute survey to ask coworkers for feedback about progress on their current topic. All completed exercises are saved in the Learning Archive, and additional resources are available here. The other piece of Strong for Performance is the Admin Dashboard. One dashboard manages the back-end process for all participants in your company. Only the person designated as administrator has access to this area. On the dashboard, you set up 1-year subscriptions for participants. It's easy to organize them into different groups, such as managers and employees. You can also send messages, monitor their activity, and encourage them to take advantage of specific resources. You can even customize the program by branding it with your company logo and adding links to your own topics. Now that you've seen how the program works, let's talk about what it can do for you and your business.
All right. As Matthew McConaughey would say, and he's a good old boy from Texas, ain't he?
Indeed. So just real quick, what I'd like to do now is just summarize how using Strong for Performance with your team can be beneficial for you and your company. First of all, your employees will get the skills and practice them that will allow them to really treat your customers like gold. This will help you not just get customers, but keep them because they love the experience they have when they come into your store. Also, when you invest in the development of your people, they appreciate that, they feel valued. And so besides the improvement in their skills, you're going to have them become more loyal to your company and to you. And finally, when you think about even the last few weeks, how many times you've had to invest your time in dealing with people problems, whether it's employee to employee or employees with customers. When you can give people the skills to help them be more effective in interacting with others, you're going to free up time for yourself. So I've also put together a special package for our attendees. And what I would like to do now is just quickly describe them. You're going to get one dashboard. Again, you only need the one dashboard for your whole company. You'll manage all the subscriptions from there. You can get 3 user subscriptions and administrator training from me with the person in your company who's going to be using our system. And normally you would pay $1,810 for that. And for this event, we're going to offer it for just $795. And so with that, and again, as Tony said, that is not for the 24 hours. That is good until Friday, September 15th. So back to you, Tony.
Thank you, Meredith. Very nice job. I wish I did as well. So again, this is we're doing this for the people that have suffered through the Hurricane Harvey and soon to land Hurricane Irma in Florida. And I'm sure you've noticed that some celebrities have given $1 million, like Sandra Bullock, right? Matter of fact, Meredith, what was that movie she was in? And Sandra Bullock, she was an FBI agent, and she was do you remember?
I don't. I was just going to talk about J.J. Watt, though, the football player who's I don't even know what his total is now. I think it's getting close to $30 million that he's paid.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So I can't expect any of us, well, maybe there's a few people who are going to listen to this that could give up $1 million, but that's not what we're going to ask. Can you imagine if we got just 100 people? Every penny counts. So we are going to give 10%. As I said, if you buy for $795, we're going to give $80 on your behalf in your name to sponsor. So here's the offer again. The Winslow Starter Package is $795. You're getting double your money's worth. And an additional offer we made yesterday to the crew was for anybody that needs additional assessments. Because if you got, for example, one restaurant or one pharmacy or one something, you may have 10, 20 employees, But if you have multiple ones, we will sell additional assessments, which will regularly go for $199 for only $139. Okay, you can buy as many as you want. You buy one, you can buy 10, you can buy 1,000. I don't care. And they do not expire, so they're always available for you. So Meredith, you want to share what your special offer is again?
Sure. Our Strong for Performance starter package is also $795. Again, it is until the 15th of September. And if you would like to get additional subscriptions beyond the 3 that come with the package, those are normally $395, and we're going to offer them for $195 during this special time.
Thank you, Meredith. So in addition, anyone that buys both packages, we have a special bonus. We are going to have a mastermind program, and it will be business owners that want to share ideas on how to improve their business. And cross-pollination sometimes is great. So we may have a restaurant guy with a pharmacy guy. Well, the restaurant guy may tell you how to market your pharmacy. Pharmacy guy may tell the restaurant guy how to make sure his restaurant's clean. So either or. But if you buy both products, we will give you 2 months free to participate in our mastermind. And that's got the fee on a monthly basis, $295. And you're not obligated for anything. You don't have to spend you don't have to be there for the third month. I hope you will. I hope we provide a value that you see that you'd want to be, but that's an extra bonus. So, and in conclusion, here's what we're doing. Go on. What you're going to do, you're going to get this message either through one of the social medias. You've clicked into this video that we play in here. And then after you've done watching it, you would click on the link beneath that. So there's going to be a link that took you to this video. Then there's going to be a link that's going to take you to the shopping cart. And in there, you make your purchases. And you'll be getting a welcome letter explaining to you what the next process is. Again, please help us out. We want to help everybody. Please, if you're in the path of a hurricane, get the heck out of the way. Okay? They are not going to stop for you and go to the right. The hurricane's going to run right over you. And for all of us that are fortunate enough to help, please help out. And I will personally right now tell you that I will personally donate another $100 personally to the Red Cross on behalf of the people in Florida in the path of Hurricane Irma. Okay? Go in there, click on the link, take this shopping cart, make your purchase. You will love what we have to offer for you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. God bless you. Be safe. Have a great weekend.